let's go over the changes for Katrina. Katrina is the good archetypal blue calm character, and with the new and improved version of Grit, Katrina has undergone a few changes to kind of match her identity, the blue color, as well as the new systems that are in place. So let's get started. The overall changes for Grit so far are some syntax changes or some wording changes. Discard has changed to bury. Face up, face down has just changed to be dashes and hyphenated instead of one word. The tenacity has gone through the overall most changes. Right now, pairing with a single, right now pairing with a card, or previously, you would flip a card face down to prevent damage equal to its cost. However, now, for each attack, you can choose to exhaust or flip a card to parry a single damage. Enhancements now go into your tenacity, and ultimate attacks you can make once per turn when your tenacity is full, and you can discard as many cards as you want, and you take the sum of all of your face-up ready cards that you've exhausted to get your ultimate attack damage number. Along with that, a small technical change that's happened as well is when you play a card, you put it into your tenacity and then resolve its effects. So something to keep in mind moving forward. Additionally, the armory deck has been removed and the armor stat value for heroes has been removed. What we'll see for that is that armory deck generally made heroes more complex and more whole, so we'd expect to see overall that hero abilities will be improved and more complete moving forward. Removing armor from heroes will just take all of the, instead of having a threshold of damage to hit, any amount of damage will cause a successful hit to occur. So if you don't prevent all the damage from an attack, you take a stamina card. So in this case, we've just essentially lowered all of the damage values by 2 to match this armor stat removal, with some other implications here and there. So let's take a look at what all that means for Katrina. Okay, left side is our old versions, right side is our new versions, and most importantly, Katrina's got new art. This is more of a concept art in general, but oh my gosh, the art for this game is going to be wild. I just love it so much. Okay, let's take a look at the stats. Katrina is a blue calm hero with 1 attack, 3 armor, and 6 hand size. And she has the ability, you may place face-up cards from the top of any main deck as if it were in your hand. On enter, flip the top card of each main deck face-up. So the idea was that you could play your opponent's face-up card, or you play your face-up card because they're both face-up. Katrina can play that. Overall, this ability, I believe, was rather clunky, and interacting and playing your opponent's stuff is something that I want to move away from in total. For Grit as a whole, so this ability is just a relic of an older time. I think it's very thematic and as card advantage built in, which is very blue, but overall does not fit the game that I want to make. So let's take a look at what she is now. 1 attack, 6 hand size, no armor. You can see that the template actually still has the armor section, but we'll remove that at some point. But she has no armor anymore. Okay, action, once per turn. Guess a cost. Then reveal action. This is a little blub for actions. Once per turn, guess a cost. Then reveal the top card of your deck. If correct, flip and ready up to 1 of your tenacity cards. Otherwise, place the top card of your deck into your tenacity face down, exhausted. Okay, so this one overall is more about understanding what the future holds, the top card of your deck, and how you want to deal with that. So it's really cool in that readying and flipping one of your tenacity cards is crazy powerful. It's especially good for the good guys team, because it means when you play Katrina on your previous turn by resting and then setting her as your active hero, you can nearly guarantee, given the rest of her cards and her kits, that you can exhaust and flip a card in some way, shape, and form when you are on defense, which just gives you a lot more options to block with. It also means any of the junk cards that some other characters in the good guy archetype generate into your stamina allows you to use those very effectively. In addition, she also functions as that put a junk card into your tenacity. Because she's able to place a card into your tenacity face down exhausted, 9 out of 10 times, given any other situation, that's generally a bad thing. However, for Katrina and the good guys, that's sometimes a good thing, and you need that to fuel. Or it allows you to get to your ultimate attack faster by generating a larger tenacity line. So, really big deal. Overall, really strong card Katrina is. So I would expect her to maintain this kind of something, this kind of ability that manages this future overall. So yeah, so much cooler, so much better, but notably does not really lean into the blue archetype with it so much, I believe. We'll get to that later. Okay, let's go to her neutral card. 3 cost Weave of Life. It's a neutral attack that costs 3. It says deal 5 damage, then flip it to one of your Tenacity cards. So, really simple effect, very much in archetype. I think that the 5 damage is probably a little too much for a 3 cost card, given that it's a neutral card specifically. This card is all upside, no downside. This card, I think in and of itself is quite strong, maybe a little too strong for neutral cards. So let's see how that is moved into the new version. So it's a 3 cost Weave of Life neutral attack, and it has a cost modifier. That's the asterisk. Cost modifier. Place up to 1 card buried to pay for this card's cost on top of your deck. And then deal 3 damage, then flip up to one of your Tenacity cards. Overall, the card is merely unchanged in its basic effect. Remember, the damage numbers have been reduced because of the armor change. And the place up to 1 card buried on top of your deck is quite strong in general. It basically allows you to keep a card you might otherwise want to keep for your next hero. It also allows you to set up the top of your deck for Katrina's ability, and it's overall very strong. I think that this card is strong. I think it's potentially too strong in general for neutral cards and doesn't necessarily make sense to have this power on a card that is so generically good. Flipping your Tenacity cards is always good, just always. So I think the restriction for moving forward on this card may need to come in terms of what kind of card you can flip, or if you need to exhaust it or something else. So there should probably be another cost to flipping a card face up. Although I do really love how succinct this card is in its effect. So really good card. Okay, From Beyond, 1 cost, Calm Defense. Affinity, that means if your active hero has the same color as this card when you play it, you can perform this effect, you may. Draw 1 card, place 1 card from your hand on top of your deck. And the ability is flip the top card of your deck face up, prevent damage equal to that card's cost. And really easy, this card's exactly the same as it is. It sets up her perfectly. Draw 1, place 1 is a really good hand management effect that allows you to set up your ability and any other effects that go on for placing cards into your Tenacity. Overall, amazing card. I don't see this card changing anytime in the future. In fact, it might actually just be a staple in every blue deck, just because of the amount of value you get out of it. So yeah, we'll see going forward. This card's really good. Next is Thoughtful. 1 cost Calm Enhancements. It has the tap symbol, so exhaust it as an action. Draw 1 card, then place 1 card from your hand on top of your deck, then flip the top card of your deck face up. So remember, this is going into the old version where she cared about having cards face up. That's why it has that second sentence there. Overall, the card is largely unchanged except for that second sentence. It's a 1 cost Calm Enhancement that has action, which is that A, and then it has an exhaust symbol to turn your card sideways. Draw 1 card, then place 1 card from your hand on top of your deck. Straightforward. This card is not necessarily a problem in terms of like having multiple copies of it. I do believe that enhancements on a baseline should probably be unique in that you can only have 1 of a single enhancement in your Tenacity at any given time. That's yet to be determined if that makes sense a lot for most of them, but maybe it's on a case-by-case basis. This card's incredible. It's so good. It's just pure hand management for a low cost. It's just perfectly blue. It's perfectly Katrina. Love it. So Thoughtful hasn't changed and ideally won't change. Intervene, a 2 cost Calm Enhancement. Tap, action, discard 1 of your Tenacity cards. Place the top card of your deck into your Tenacity. Very simple effect. It was very strong, but I think it was overshadowed by a lot of other cards in previous iterations of the game. I think this card personally has always been incredible, and it's pretty much unchanged. If we take a look at the new version, action A, exhaust, bury 1 of your Tenacity cards, place the top card of your deck into your Tenacity. Just totally unchanged, totally incredible card. It makes any dud, any card that you don't want in there into something that is actually something. This card is insane, especially being able to place cards on top of your deck with Katrina's other cards means you can essentially set up whatever card you want very good card. Like, this is a card that I don't believe you should have more than one in your Tenacity. Thoughtful is much less impactful, but this one is immediate and in very strong value. So yeah, Intervene's awesome. I don't expect it to change. Asterisks. Asterisks. But I don't expect it to change. Change of Fate. This is a bizarre card. So this is effectively her signature card. The old version was a 4-cost calm skill that had a cost modifier, which says the cost modifier was if this card is played from somewhere else other than your hand, give it -3 cost. Then the effect was flip each card in each Tenacity, then consume this card. So this was meant to be a complete flip of every card. As you are playing the good guys, you're going to get a lot of face down cards. And being able to flip all those and maybe flipping your opponents to be strictly worse than what they had was an incredible 4-cost game-changing effect. That's what 4-cost cards are, game-changing. And the effect to play it from somewhere else obviously honed in on playing things from the top of your deck. So overall, the card really fit the character, was really hard to play, but was also stupid good to cheat out into your Tenacity by flipping it face up or by just putting it into your Tenacity free from other card effects. Was like a problem. It was so good. So yeah, something to keep in mind. That effect overall was very good. Moving into the new version, all pretty much the same on the top end. So that means it's a 3-cost modifier, change of fate, calm skill, reduce the cost. And then we go to affinity. The cost modifier is affinity, -2 cost. So still going down to that low, this is essentially card advantage. Anything that says minus cost is essentially card advantage. Because you're paying less cards from hands, you're essentially gaining those cards in value in some sense. So the effect is ready your active hero, then reveal the top card of your deck. Your active hero gets +X strength this turn, where X is the revealed card's cost. I generally like to stay away from these X modifiers because I think that's not intuitive for people coming into the game. I find it very intuitive, but I know that coming into a game and being like, what the heck is X? Isn't necessarily like, it's like a dynamic number, right? So it's a little hard for people to gather around. So the wording there might change. Overall, I actually find this card pretty unappealing in terms of its effect. The effect is awesome. The effect is super good. If you have any way to ready your active hero, this card becomes unnatural. The high cost is meant to sort of mitigate that, and that you need to jump through more hoops to actually ready your active hero while also playing this card in the same turn. And then having a 3-cost card that readies and gives you additional strength means you're not only getting the value of an attack previously, but you're also getting the damage of whatever's on the top, which you ideally set up, and you get to ready and hit again. So you get your attack value of your active hero plus whatever you put on top for a 3-cost card, where in general 3-cost cards, if we go back to Weave of Life, generally only deal 3 damage. So this card can give you an insane amount of value basically every time you play it. So I think overall the card is not blue. It's just not. Readying is not a blue thing. Gaining strength is not a blue thing. So overall, I like the idea of it because of the use of the top card of your deck, but I think that there should be a different way to utilize its effect to feel more blue, to feel more calm. So something to keep in mind. Overall, Katrina has a very parasitic design. That means that overall she works very well in a self-contained way. Her cards feed into her other cards that allow her to do more cool things, as well as her hero ability. I personally love design that is parasitic like this. It feeds off of itself. Although I can see ways in which this doesn't allow more creative people than myself to deck build. So I like it, and I think that's what I want in Grit, is this parasitic design, but I can see it being as a problem for other people. So just as in summary, she's very parasitic. Which is clearly a word I just learned because I'm using it so much. In blue, generally, this is a color for card draw and hand advantage. But she doesn't really lean into that. She leans more into the hand management side, where you're kind of determining the top card of your deck, you're trading it back and forth. And I think that is blue, especially transforming cards in your Tenacity is very blue. Changing them and affecting them kind of and making them different in some way is very blue to me. Intervene is a really good example of this, of just like literally transforming into something else entirely. But she does lack, I think, some core blue qualities. And I think with the good guys, being able to show off as kind of the premier characters and decks and cards of Grits. When I want to say, hey, come play my game or come play this game, oh, cool, I don't want to play anything too complicated. Great, here are the good guys. They're your intro to everything. I think that she kind of lacks that identity to show off. So, don't know what to do about that yet. She has a very strong, unique feel. As we kind of said, she's very parasitic, and she has her own way of doing things. So that unique feel really hones in on like manipulating the top card of your deck, which nothing else I think within Grit does that right now. And I think that's a really strong point in her direction as a good character quality to have. It's very thematic and it's very blue. Very cool. So that's good for her. Her enhancements are also so strong. The sooner you get those out and the more you keep them active or keep them ready, is you just feel so ahead of the game in a lot of ways. And I think that's why I bring up that Intervene should be a unique one that you can't put more on. Having two of those in play feels like you're cheating. Like you don't need to follow the same rules as anybody else. I think that really comes down to a design perspective of, at the end of the game, do you want to feel strong and mighty with what you've set up and what you've been able to keep set up throughout the game? Or should you feel like you're just grasping at straws, so you're trying to get that last punch with that last big hit? And I think this is, Grits used to be a build-up game, but now it's kind of turning into a little bit of a tear-down game in terms of like overall resources moving through the game's progression. So I don't know. That's a hard one. It's just, her enhancements are really good and that feels awesome. Her ability though, the only thing I could see as feeling a bit awkward and kind of a little weird to players is when you want to get the guess wrong. So when you guess a cost, if you're correct, you get paid off. And if you guess right, you get paid off. If you guess wrong, you get this dud card, this face down exhausted card. And sometimes that's a good thing. And it's a little funky, or it feels a little bit out of place when you're like, okay, I know what the top card is and I don't really want that face up or face down, but I need another card in my tenacity. So I'm going to activate my ability and I'm going to guess a cost of, I don't know, 35. Flip the cost, oh, it's 2. Okay, cool, I'll put it in face down. That feels like it defeats the spirit of the game. And I don't know what to do about that because I think the ability is pretty cool. But it just doesn't feel like it fits the spirit of like playing a card game with somebody and like kind of being silly. It is silly and that's okay. I think that maybe overshadows it being a little silly, a little weird. Is that the silliness of it is fine. It's fine. Oh my gosh, my eyes are starting to give out. Okay, that's it for Katrina. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. You're wonderful and you're awesome. And if you didn't, you got him. Wherever you are, whenever you are in the world, whether it's a day, night, morning, weekend, or you're on vacation, or you're having lunch, I hope that you have a great everything. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in whatever the next video is. So see ya.